The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning, Siouxland. I'm Art Silva, and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is dedicated to your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. We hope to educate and motivate you to help improve your mental wellness environment. Our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. Joining me today is my colleague and co-host, Brenda Geisinger, Chief Operating Officer at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. You hide all the eggs?
You betcha.
You ready? Okay, you're ready to rock and roll for Easter. Would you kindly introduce our guest and topic?
Given that Easter is coming up, we really kind of get into religion and faith, so we want to talk about that today. And really, what is faith? And it's really the concept of connecting with a belief, a hope, and just a sense of well-being, and looking to something outside of yourself to give you a sense of balance.
And who's our guest today?
Our guest is Sandy Jacobsma. She is a therapist at Family Services. She's been with us for how long, Sandy, now?
For 13 years.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, we're
so
lucky.
her and I are going to chat about this and kind of go from there.
Hey, that sounds like a great way to start the day. Easter. I got to tell you, it's my favorite holiday of the year. I get Easter fever. There's nothing better than coming out of church and the sun shining. I think that's going to happen tomorrow. I think we get a little bit of rain or cloud. But anyway, just the spirit. And I make Easter resolutions. That's a great time to start things new. A lot of people do New Year's resolutions. I like an Easter resolution. So I better get serious. So Sandy, Brenda, take it away.
I think one of the things about Easter and the excitement is the new beginnings, like you talked about, a fresh start. You've got the flowers coming, the grass turning green, and people really kind of connect as a community. And I think that's what faith is about, really connecting with something bigger than yourself, whether it's other people in a congregation or even if it's not a faith-based religion, it's connecting to other hopes and beliefs and commonalities. Sandy, what are your thoughts?
I think that's true, that it is that connectedness with others. And also, when you aren't a part of a faith community, so often this is celebrated by families with Easter egg hunts and families gathering for dinners and all of those celebrations around it, which really bring families together.
Well, how would, taking a look at that, how would you say belonging to that community is important? What's the benefits of belonging to a faith community?
I think one of the benefits is that you have a community of people that you can call upon if you're having difficult times, but also that you can enjoy the good things going on in life. There's support both in our good times and also in sorrow when we have, illness or death in a family. There are people you can call upon to support you, and you don't have to just go through things alone.
I think, when I was growing up and being in the church, there was a sense of belonging bigger than yourself. And recently I had to go back to my hometown for a family friend that had passed away. And I just felt at home. There was this unspoken love and support, and you can just look at someone across the aisle, and there's always, so-and-so always sat in this part of the church, and they're still there. And it's like, yes, I feel like I'm at the dinner table eating the ham and getting ready for the Easter egg hunt. It's just that sense of oneness.
Like funerals and weddings, best of times, worst of times, and the cycle of life. But that comfort you get from family, and I don't want to forget close friends. Close friends are very, very important, and you're very lucky and blessed if you have a group of close friends that look out for you. But let me ask you another question, because sometimes when we start discussing faith, we get into the different types of faiths. And that brings up, I won't say controversy, but we kind of don't understand a lot of the different faiths. I wish we had a course like comparative religions. You could sit down and just go through everything and what does it mean. But what are your thoughts on the different communities of faith?
I think, especially in our area and across the world, we have different communities of faith represented by Native American cultures talking about the Great Spirit. We have Christianity talking, Jesus and God. And in most communities, there's a God is a part of those different faiths, and God can be called many different names, and maybe Allah or Yahweh in the Judaism. And so I think it's important just to acknowledge that we have many different faiths, and that, it's important to come together and not to have persecution, or important to have acceptance of one another's differences.
I was up in Alaska for a while, and I remember being around the native Alaskans, the Eskimos, and their rituals, and how they believed in land and earth going together. And it's interesting, but there was a belief in a leader, in a supreme being, some type of, how did this come together? And they practiced that. So I don't think we should enhance our differences. We should learn more from each other and become part of another community, not to practice, but just say, let's just talk about this. And what do you go? How do you see this? And how do you look at things? I know a lot of people have recently watched the Chosen, and we're done with 2 seasons and waiting the 3rd season. But that is a wonderful series. If you haven't seen it out there, take a look at the Chosen, because it talks about Jesus in his time with his friends and how those disciples traveled with him. So it's according to the gospel. So, it's a place to go. It's a place to find relief. I view it, for me, in my mental wellness, an oasis. That 1 hour a week where you can go and you can get your strength, pray for be a better person, and all the things you need to do. So, and the downside of this, I don't understand how people can go without it. It means that much to me. I'm Art Silva, along with my co-host Brenda Geisinger and our guest Sandy Jacobsma, and you're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well. What's the Sunday morning like in your house? And everybody out there kind of ask yourself the same question. What's a Sunday morning like in your house?
I think, Sunday is a time to regroup. You're getting ready for the next work week, but you're also celebrating the weekend, and you're just kind of pausing, at least for me. And, is all the chores done? Can I just sit and kind of regroup and just take a pause? It's a day to just relax for me. Sandy, what about you?
In our home, I also enjoy, I don't have to get up and go to work right away. I can enjoy just sitting there and relaxing, having my breakfast and coffee. But then my husband and I do go to church together. And that's really important to both of us to have, to be able to celebrate our faith and to be a part of a larger community.
I have to go back to my child rearing days, and Sunday morning was not fun because one of my children was always late, getting in the car, every week, go to church. I'm waiting on one of them, so I won't blow her identity right now. But, it's Sunday morning. When you talked about that chance to relax, sit back, that's become a luxury for a lot of us. Read the paper, sit down. Sometimes in the wintertime, you wish for a great snowstorm, and you got the New York Times, and you can just sit there and just get into it. So, that is something, and it's good to remember that, because that's that last day we're supposed to take a rest. I remember when I had my businesses, the car dealerships, I would not open on Sunday. I really believe that was the time. And not against anybody that does, because it is a convenience for people who are often working. But for me, it just wasn't part of my what we wanted to do in the dealership. Let me ask you this. How do you feel in church? Are there parts of your services where you feel more connected than other parts of the service? What moves you? What touches your spirit?
I think for me, it's several moments during a service, whether it's during the prayer, you're all quiet and you all have your own thoughts. but there's this sense of peace in the stillness and listening. And then also a good hymn for me. Some of the classics and the old traditional hymns, and Amazing Grace can get me going every time. And also Silent Night. I cry almost every time because it's just so spiritual for me. But again, there are other religions and other practices. I hope that some people have a similar connection in some way. It's just that sense of moving emotionally and spiritually that can just connect people.
So you tie into the music. The music
Yes.
appeals to you. A lot of times when you look at over the course of the year, there are different faiths having different dinners. And I love to go up when the Jewish congregation has their meal because they got the greatest egg salad and tuna fish I've ever heard of, but it goes great. And then you also have the Greek Orthodox dinner. And these are also times where the custom and the religion can kind of come together and build that family, and you meet new people and you meet new things. It's just it's all part of that service. It's not just going there and feeling you're getting propagandized. No, you're going there because A, you want to be there, and B, you want to share. And then the real treat of going, of course, is the Eucharist. In certain religions, that's the real treat. So, I mean, if you're true to your meaning and why you're going and your beliefs, it's a tremendous, tremendous strength. And I know in real tough times, you can be bulletproof with a strong faith. You just got to trust your faith. And so I'll tell you with that, we're coming up on our break, so continue to enjoy the dawn of another beautiful day. We'll be right back with more of When Things Aren't Going Well right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva along with Brenda Geisinger and Sandy Jacobsma. Let's continue our discussion of faith and mental wellness. Sandy, let me ask you, is one's religion a source of faith?
One's religion can be a source of faith. And again, I think it's how it's expressed and how they're part of their worship and the beliefs can really impact one's life in a positive way. And other times it can be rather suppressive if you have differing beliefs than just what is taught by your religious background.
You know, we take a look at that, and we're kind of like really born into our religion. When you're born, this is what you are. And then you find people as they go further along, making a decision that something's not being met, and they're looking for something alternative. For many reasons, and they're all valid reasons when someone makes that change. But, you know, when you look at us, we just kind of go along. It's not like a Republican Democrat. You're not born to that. But, you know, you're born into this. This is what you are, and you stay there until you kind of say, maybe I want to look at something different. What are your thoughts on that?
I think as adults, when we start, identifying where we are with our beliefs and our thoughts and values, you may question some things. Does this fit? Does this not? And it's an evolving process. You may make that decision when you're in college age or young adulthood, or you may decide that later on in life. Or there are some people, they have something traumatic that happens to them and they start questioning their religion and their faith and their belief and just want to take a pause. And that's all okay because you're self-reflecting and growing and deciding what fits for you to make your life more robust and healthy for yourself.
I totally agree with what Brenda just said because that's all about the journey. And I see faith as a journey. And that each of us are on a journey to figure out who we are and how we're going to choose to worship. And I think about 12-step communities that would not say they are a religion, but they do have a belief in a higher power, however they define that. That can be God or it can be something else. But that community really supports them in their recovery.
Very interesting. Other ways that this faith has a strength can help you get over other hurdles in your life. We're talking, our business is the mental wellness area, and the separation of church and state sometimes gets in the way because we can't do that in our residential setting. If the parents want to, I mean, they certainly can, but we cannot do that. And we would, but we can't. So we respect that. But you always wonder about a child's religious education. It's not something like throwing on a switch. When does it start? And when does it end? Do you follow it all the way through? So some people don't, but they still practice. There are some rules and laws in religion that people would like to see changed. It's about inclusion. We're going through a time in history where a lot of challenges are facing Christianity and all religions right now, and I think people are searching. But I think we're going to get good out of this. I think wherever it is that we can all, with all of our differences, work together, and it'll be a better place for everybody. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but I don't know another answer. I mean, that's just where it goes. How about the effects of, the opposite of this? You're not in the community, you're not faith-based, but what about isolation? Tell me about isolation.
Isolation is really something that needs to be addressed because it really does affect mental health. I think we've seen that with COVID, with people becoming very isolated. You were afraid to go out. We stayed in our homes more. And many people did not go to their different communities of faith because of COVID. And isolation, we know, can contribute to an increase in depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. And so being with other people is so important to our overall well-being.
I don't think we should limit this just to adults. Children, it filters right down right now. And I know, Brenda, you were telling me about our children and the boys and the girls and different types of problems they're dealing with. Do you want to share that?
I think, with isolation, especially with children, they're trying to figure out their purpose. And I think faith and values and beliefs kind of adds to where do I fit in this large pool of people in this ocean of thoughts, and where do I go? How do I swim in this quagmire of stuff? And if you don't have that grounding, you can feel very lost, even within a group of people. What do I believe? Where do I fit in? And so you get more depressed or anxious if you don't have a sense of bearing, and that can increase more so if you are isolated and aren't connected with something grounding you.
I just saw a report today that came out recommending that parents get their children under 8 years old screen for anxiety. This is a problem. We're in the business, so we see it. Luckily, we started our process a while ago to improve our facility and obviously the services in the community. And we're glad we did because we've got a full house right now. And from what we see down the road, this is going to continue. So I'm looking at something like faith. What do you grab onto? What do you hold on to get you through this bumpy ride? If you don't have faith, what type of support system or community system can you be part of? Sandy?
I think that's a really important concept for all of us and something to embrace. I think we need to search for where we can fit in. What group of people can we belong to? And that could be anything from being a part of like the Rotaries or the JC, something like that, to other communities, service projects where you come together and friendships grow out of living life together in that way.
Interesting. I got to tell you, this just the social side of things. Who takes the first step? Who in this whole process? I think you sit back and wait, feeling sorry for yourself, but no, you got to take that first step. You don't think it's going to happen magically. I got to get up, get out, and do something, even if it's in the grocery aisle. Start that contact. You need a support system. No one's an island, as the cliche. So we need this, and if you can't find it in religion, please get a support system that will help you. We're all here to help each other. Just like we learned in kindergarten, you hold hands, look both ways before you cross the street. We need each other. Well, we're coming up on the end of our show for this week, and we want to leave you with a little humor for your mental wellness. So here's a shot at it. We'll try to stay with the Easter spirit. 3 men are at heaven's gate. St. Peter says to the first one, "If you can enter if you tell me the real meaning of Easter." The man responds, "That's when Santa brings toys to me and all the good boys and girls." St. Peter responds, "No, that's not even the right holiday. You can't get into heaven." St. Peter turns to the second man and asks the same question. The man responds, "That's when the Easter bunny gives painted eggs to the kids." St. Peter responds, "That has nothing to do with the meaning of Easter. You can't get into heaven." St. Peter is exasperated. He turns to the third man and pleads, "Can you please tell me the real meaning of Easter?" The man responds, "Of course. That's when our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for our sins and rose from the dead." St. Peter is ecstatic. Finally, a man who knows the true meaning of Easter. But the man continues, "And if he sees his shadow, there's 6 more weeks of winter." We want to wish you all, we're going to do a shout out to all the Easter bunnies and all their helpers. Thanks for keeping the tradition going. It's great for kids. They love it. Thank you, Brenda and Sandy. And also thanks to our listening audience. Appreciate it today. We'll be back next Saturday morning at 7 right here in 1360 AM, 94.9 FM, KSCJ. And our topic will be human trafficking. I'm sure you will find this very informational. So please plan on joining us. Don't forget to do your homework this week and go out and have a good laugh. It's good for the soul. Have a great week, and may the sun shine on you.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives. We change lives. We change lives.